Hello and thank you for coming to check this out. I'm in Final Cut and I have this very basic title here, and the title has a set of controls, so we can reposition, we can adjust the size and the rotation as well. So we're going to have a look at how to make a set of controls like this in Motion that you can use for your Final Cut templates. There's lots of different ways to make controls like these. The method I'm going to show you is something that I learned from Fox Mahoney over at the Apple Motion forum. There's a link in the description as well for you to check out a tutorial from Jon Belew, which will show you a different method as well. But the general idea is that Motion has various filters, and those filters come with these on-screen controls. But what we can do is use the controls of the filter to control other objects instead by linking the parameters between them. So let's jump over to Motion now and have a look at how that's done. I'm starting here in a new Final Cut Titles template. I have a group that's centered in the canvas, and in there I just have this text object that's centered by format and position too. So let's add a group, and I'm going to name this, or you could name it as OSC group. I'm going to name it in full on-screen controls, and we'll add the titles group into that group, and then we want to add another group, and I'll call this group controllers and place that group under the others in the layers panel. Then you want to come to, in the inspector, come to the group panel, see fixed resolution, make sure that is checked on. So with this controllers group selected, we're going to add a generator, choose color solid, and we can just turn that off. And I'm going to call this control set A. And with the generator selected, we'll come to filters, come to distortion, and add 12. And I'm going to name this filter as position size rotation. The first parameter we have here is amount. We want to set that to 0.1. But first note that the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 1. Let's set that to 0.1 for now. We're going to use this for scale, and here the 12 filter, we're going to use that for rotation. The handle is sticking to the side, we want that to stand up, so let's make that value there 90. And these parameters here, we're going to use these for position. Just note that when the center values are 0 and 0, these values here are 0.5 and 0.5. So let's link up the position first. Select the on-screen controls group, come to properties and choose X position. Then choose from this menu add parameter behavior link. And we're going to name this as X pos, short for position. For the source object, don't drag in the filter, we're going to drag in that generator. And we'll choose filters, center X, and you'll see the text jump over to the side. So remember, in this filter here we have these two values, 0.5 and 0.5. Okay, so for X, that value there, we want to add the negative in the X offset, so negative 0.5. Duplicate that link, we'll rename it, and we want the target parameter now to be properties transform position Y, and the source parameter filters center Y, and we'll add the same negative offset. Now we'll link up the scale, so grab the group, come to scale X, add a link behavior. Let's name it X scale. drag in the generator, and you want to choose filters, amount. And remember that slider runs from 0 to 1, so we want to have not a 1-to-1 relationship, we want a 1-to-10 relationship, so we'll make the scale here value 10. Okay, duplicate that link, we'll rename it, and change the target parameter. So now we have the position and scale linked up, ready to use. So now we want to add rotation. Grab the on-screen controls group, come to rotation, choose Z rotation, and add the link. And we want to drag in the generator and choose twirl. We set that value at 90 before, so in the offset we're going to add -90. And for scale, we want to add a value of 4. So now we have position, size, and rotation. So a couple of other steps from here. If you want the text editable in Final Cut, then in Final Cut, by clicking around here, you're going to activate the text field instead of the control. So we want to lift the control up above the text object. So we'll do that by adjusting the Y parameter here. Let's change that from 0 to 400. So note that this value changed from 0.5 to 0.77, so we want to update the offset in this link. So change that from -0.5 to -0.77. Then maybe you want a smaller ring as the control. So if you want to do that, you need to change the relationship between the links. So let's halve this. So now we've got 0.05. Come to the Y scale link and we'll double this to 20. And this one. One more thing that you might want to do is put a clamp on this generator to stop it shifting around in Final Cut. So we'll come here to Properties, come to Position, add Parameter Behavior Clamp, and set this maximum value to 0. Then the last important thing to do is grab the filter, come to the inspector and make sure that Publish OSC is checked on so that the controls will actually be available in Final Cut when you publish your template. The reason that I add filters to generators is that, well, the first reason is the 12 filter needs to have something in the group. If it's just acting on an empty group, the controls will be visible and available in motion, but they won't be in Final Cut, even if you have Publish on-screen controls turned on. But the main reason is that by adding your filters to generators, you can easily duplicate and rename to create batches of filters for other objects in your template. So you can imagine that in a project, a big project template, there's going to be lots of items with their own controls. So for example, you can build up groups of your controls like this, and then you can easily add these to your favorites library to grab and use in other templates and other projects. So speaking of the favorites library, if you have followed along, what I recommend you do is clear out this group, clear out the title from it, save this to your library, and then for later projects you can bring it in and then just link everything up in the way that you need to. Okay, so that is all we need to do today. There's a link in the description to check out another guide from Jon Belew, so definitely go and check that out to learn how to use different filters as well. And once again, thanks to Fox Mahoney. This method here is something I picked up from his advice over at the Apple Motion forums. Thanks for checking it out. I hope it's useful, and thanks for watching.